All right, welcome to the Oddball Aussie News. So, the news edition of the show. A little bit, I think about a day late, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Things got pretty busy the last couple of days, so bear with me. Hope you've all been doing really, really well out there, and hope you can all see the screen. And what we've got going on. This is a little bit of breaking news, something I just recently stumbled upon. So, it could be interesting. So definitely, if you've got anything throughout the news, if you're listening live, chuck it up into the chat there. Ask me any questions. More than happy to have a chat and answer anything in regards to news or in regards to anything else. So before we begin, make sure you are checking out the Twitter page. That's at Aussie Oddball. That's the same for Instagram, at Aussie Oddball. The Facebook and the TeePublic page is the Oddball Aussie Podcast, and you can definitely find some really cool stuff on that TeePublic page to support the show and buy a bit of merch. It's always a good thing to do to support the channel, support the show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notifications on the YouTubes. I'd love to get some more followers, and we've got game streaming coming up. We've got more episodes that'll be releasing to the YouTube. Generally, this is an audio only podcast at the moment. So generally, the audio really just goes for the listeners, so the people on their podcast apps and things like that. So we'll get into this very, very soon. We're just waiting to see if anyone else wants to come in, and then we'll jump in. But hopefully you've all been doing very well. See, there's one person here has jumped in, so if you want to have a chat, definitely chuck something up in the chat there as we go through the news. I'll redo the intro at some point, and we'll kick off. All right, so here we go. Yep, all right, stream is in excellent connection. We can begin. All right, welcome to the Oddball Aussie News, the news edition, the start of your week, and we missed out on last week, and I apologise for that. But this is going to be a little bit shorter tonight, but some really interesting news. I think a lot of you can see, if I bring it up, the screen that I've got there. That's some breaking news that we're going to talk about. So a bit of Travis Walton controversy, I guess you could call it. Then we have a bit of a story about some interesting science news. We've got Bigfoot news, of course. What is this thing? Is it a ant? Is it a crab? Is it a spider? Is it a horrible creature from an alien planet? Maybe. Who knows? We've got these strange beds and this lovely chap right here. And a terrifying image, and we'll get into all that very, very soon. And if you're listening on the podcast apps, thank you, and definitely check out the show in the show notes. You go to the YouTube page and have a look at what we've been doing over there as well, because it's a lot of fun. We do a lot of fun things on the Twitter and the Instagrams, and not so much on the Facebooks anymore. So the Twitter is the Oddball Aussie. And so is the Twitter is at Aussie Oddball, and the Instagram is at Aussie Oddball, and you can find the Oddball Aussie podcast on Facebook and also on TeePublic, where you can buy some great merch. Alrighty, sorry if I had to repeat that. It's just that I didn't have the thingamajig recording in the background. So where were we? Are we even still live? Yes, we are. All right, so what we're looking at right now is a theory. Now, this theory is a new one about Travis Walton that is saying his crew chief, Mike Rogers, actually confessed to Travis Walton being a hoaxer and the whole thing being made up. Now, the interesting thing about this is, if you look at this map, the suggestion is that he went up and hid in the Gentry Tower, which you can see just here, blown up image to the right. And as I said, check out the Twitter page. You can see the imagery on there if you're not following with the YouTubes. Now, the interesting thing about this is a speculation. This is once again another speculative case. There is some really strong evidence that this may or may not have happened. This is brought up on the Bad UFOs blog spot, so I'll put a link into the description about that. So go and check that out. And this information that they got came from another website called the $3 Kit. So the $3kit.weebly.com. You can check out the information on there. I have to take it with a grain of salt because I don't know. It's interesting. It's well put together. It's deeply researched. I do understand that. I've been through every single page of this now, and there's a few things that throw me off. This is definitely wargaming, so this is definitely speculation a lot of the time. There isn't any hard evidence that this is actually what Travis did. So I'm still on the fence with this one. They also go into the Betty and Barney Hill story as well. And I think I put a thing up on I was talking to some of the people in the network that I'm part of, Straight Up Strange Productions, and I was saying that I've got splinters in my backside because of how much fencing I'm doing with this one. And it's true. I am fence sitting with this because I don't know. The $3 kit they've done a great amount of research for this. It's amazing. It's really, really well done. The only part that gets me is that almost every paragraph or the end of every paragraph, there's some real smart-assy remark or some real snide remark. And it makes me feel like, did the person go in with the sole purpose of, I've got to catch me a Travis Walton, I've got to catch me a Betty and Barney Hill? Like, I don't know. I don't know why the sarcasm is so much. Maybe it's just not transferring well to me in text, but I don't know. I would have found this to be a great research print without the sarcasm, without the little jokes in between and stuff. I guess maybe they're trying to make it a interesting thing to read, but to me, I don't know. It was just sort of, I'm not going to say swinging down because they are swinging up in a way, but if someone were to prove the $3 Kit website wrong, would then this person like take back everything? I wonder. And if you are someone who knows the $3 Kit or has something to do with $3 Kit website, definitely reach out to me. I'd love to have a chat and bounce some ideas off you. I understand that you're an Aussie, so we've got that in common at least. And look, if we found out tomorrow Travis Walton was faking the whole thing, I don't fly his banner, so I wouldn't really care. It'd be disappointing, certainly, but it wouldn't be something that I'd be all that devastated over. And not only that, I think it would be, look, you got to think about it from this way. If the foreman came out tomorrow and said that, I've got proof that this was all a hoax, fair game. But right now, in the state of affairs we have, that foreman, that boss, he also has an opportunity to make a ton of money out of this. With how big the Travis Walton case had become, and is actually becoming bigger again. I mean, it's had some new life breathed into it recently. With all of that, there is a question of whether would this fellow would make some money out of this. And from everything I've read through the blog posts and everything on the Bad UFOs blog and also the $3 Kit, this fellow wasn't very happy with Travis anyway, because he thinks that Travis is stealing all the limelight and taking all of that UFO convention money and book money and all that. And he's sort of had a bit of a thing against Walton for years now. So I don't know. It's questionable, certainly, and I definitely will do another. We'll go through the Travis Walton story eventually, and we'll deep dive into a bit more of this modern stuff. But for now, go and check out those websites. Very, very interesting stuff. And I don't know. As I said, still sitting on the fence about it. I can't help but sit on the fence about it. They believe the lights that were being put towards the car could have been coloured lights, or it could have been something covering the spotlight to colour the spotlight. But yeah, once again, I mean, unless you've got hardcore evidence to prove that this is what happened, it's pretty tricky. It's a very, very sticky situation. Alrighty, so as I said before, if you've got anything you want to talk about, definitely chuck it up there in the chat. And moving on, we have... What is this? What is this? Well, this is... Once I find it... mysterious strands of DNA that seemingly assimilate genes from many different organisms in their surrounding environment have been discovered in a Californian backyard. Scientists have named these elements Borgs, and their discovery could help us not just understand the evolution of microorganisms, but their interactions within the ecosystems and their role in the broader environment. According to geomicrobiologist Jill Banfield from the University of California, Berkeley, Borgs could make for a tremendously significant discovery. I haven't been this excited about discovery since CRISPR, she said on Twitter. We found something enigmatic like CRISPR is associated with microbial genomes. A paper describing the structure has been uploaded to preprint server bioRxiv and currently awaits peer review. The first of the Borgs was discovered in mud dredged up from Banfield's backyard. She was working with geneticist Bassam Al-Shaib of UC Berkeley to identify viruses that infect anoxic microbes known as archaea that live in wetland environments. Science magazine reports, environmental DNA is an excellent way to identify the range of organisms that inhabit an ecosystem. But in their scoop of mud, Banfield and Al-Shaib found something funny, a structure of DNA consisting of nearly 1 million base pairs. That's huge. A closer look at the sequence revealed even more peculiarities. More than half of the genes were new. It had mirrored sequences at the end of each strand, and it showed structures consistent with the ability to self-replicate. So this is something that generally does not happen. This isn't a common found thing in nature, and it was very puzzling for the scientists. What these DNA structures are is unclear, though, and they're certainly fascinating. They belong to a class of structures called extrachromosomal elements, or ECEs, which can be found outside of the chromosomes that contain most of an organism's genetic material. ECEs are huge and self-replicating, and they can be found inside or outside the cell nuclei. Examples include plasmids and viral DNA. We can neither prove that they are archaeal viruses or plasmids or mini chromosomes, nor can we prove that they are not, the researchers write in their paper. So this could be a very, very interesting turn for DNA sequencing if this can be sort of proven, or if it's disproven, it could put to rest a lot of debate that happens within that field. So very, very interesting story for anyone who's into the science stuff. I know I love it. Alrighty, how about this? What do you think about Bigfoot? Do you believe in Bigfoot? Do you not believe in Bigfoot? I know a lot of people don't, and I can get on board with that. I get that, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people have said that they've found video and they've caught photos. This one in particular. So this one is a Bigfoot that was caught on camera in Michigan, and it was crossing a river. So this comes from Coast to Coast. Intriguing piece of footage from Michigan shows a rather sizable creature in the process of crossing a river, and some suspect the strange beast could be a Bigfoot. A group known as the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization received the wild report earlier this month from an individual named Eddie, who claimed that their cousin spotted the strange scene while kayaking on the Cass River. The man initially provided them with a remarkable photo that appears to capture the bipedal creature crossing the river while seemingly holding something in its arms. Fortunately, Eddie subsequently shared a brief video of the eerie encounter, which provides a somewhat better glimpse of the oddity. So it is hard to, it is once again a blurry photo, a blurry video, and I was going to play the video for you all, for the ones tuning in on the YouTubes, but I want to get the Michigan Bigfoot team's approval first, or even Eddie's approval if I can track down who this Eddie is, because I'd love to invite them on the show and have a chat. But it's definitely interesting. I would love to know what the depth of that river is at that point. Like, right now, what the best thing a good team would do would be to go out there on a kayak and reference when you look at the picture, you can those bushes behind the this Bigfoot image and that bay, that shore. Surely you could reference that and sort of plot out where that area would be. So I'd be interested in seeing if they've gone back and gone out there with a kayak and say just with an oar and put the oar into the water and seen how deep that was. Because let's say look at this picture. Let's say that water at that point is maybe let's guess it's at a foot or 2 foot. That would probably match up with a person in a suit. Now, let's say that water was, say, 4 foot out there. If that water's 4 foot out there, and this person appears, or this creature appears to be up to its knees, maybe, in water, potentially we could look at that and say, well, this thing would have to be above 4 foot. That's a definite. It would definitely be above 4 foot if the water is 4 foot. So then anything above, then when you take into account knees, legs, back, bones, spine, all that, that could put it at about 8 to 9 feet, maybe even taller. So that's what we would need to know, because if that does get proven that it is 4 feet deep there, that could definitely be, and that's just me speculating. I don't know how deep that water is there. I'm just saying that that would be the best way of doing it, just to sort of say whether this is something to look into. Not saying it isn't. If it's 1 foot of water there, this thing could still be a monster. This thing could still be huge, but that'd definitely be one to make people go, "Ooh, that's interesting." So I'll keep you posted on whatever else I find out about this. It's a very interesting story to me. It seems to be carrying something. A lot of people on the forums and chats have been saying that they think it's carrying a child. Others are saying it's carrying food. I don't know. Once again, it could be a big person in a monkey suit for all I know. But hopefully it's not. Hopefully this is the real deal. And we're seeing more and more of these creatures getting caught on camera as it is. And many people believe the reason why we're seeing these so much more is because think about it right now. The amount of things we're seeing coming out of the forest and coming into towns, such as deer, bear, we've had elk, being seen in America coming out of the forest and into towns. The amount of deer that are smashing through cafe windows and things like of that nature, that to me is very, very interesting. That makes me think that there must be something going on in the world that's causing it's causing animals to sort of come out from the wilderness. So if this is a blood and bones animal, if the Sasquatch is just a blood and bones animal, maybe that's what it's doing as well. It's being chased out of its natural habitat and it's just coming back into the native, into our world. But who knows? It's a very, very interesting story nonetheless. And we'll definitely keep you posted on it, and check the Oddball Aussie Twitter page at Aussie Oddball for any updates that I find. And that'll go for the Travis story as well. Any story, really. And while we're at it, make sure you also email me your stories. I want to hear your stories. I want to see what else what do you want to tell me about? Anything crazy, anything unexplained, anything, whether it's your story, your neighbor's story, your best friend's story, your family story. If it happened to you when you're a kid and you're not too sure if it was real or not, just send it in. I'll read it on the show. I would love to get a whole new episode of weird stories coming out onto the net, because I think they are really, really good, and I always treat them with the highest respect. No one gets made fun of on this show. If you have the guts to send your story in, it'll be treated with the highest respect. So, alrighty. So what is this thing? What's this creature right here? This is... I'll make sure that's loaded up. So this is a whip scorpion. So A whip scorpion was spotted in a national park in Texas. Texas Big Bend National Park shared a photo of an acid-spraying creature that emerges after summer rains. Yes, this thing sprays acid. Vinegaroon or whip scorpion was spotted at the park's Chisos Basin campground. The creature can shoot a well-aimed spray of 85% acetic acid, but only if they're disturbed, the park said. The acidic spraying critters are on the hunt for food and love at a national park in Texas, according to authorities. Vinegaroon, also called a whip scorpion, was spotted after a summer rains likely lured the creature out of its burrow at Big Bend National Park, the Texas destination said. The creature can pinch with the heavy mouth parts, pedipalps, and shoot a well-aimed spray of 85% acetic acid. So now, when we say 85% acetic acid, it's basically like vinegar. So this is more of an acid to make you go, ooh, 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 get away from me. That's scary. I hate the taste of that. So this is more of something to stop predators from trying to eat it. So it comes from the base of their whip to protect themselves, but they won't unleash this spray unless you happen to annoy them. So kids, don't stir the bugs up. They hunt millipedes, scorpions, crickets, cockroaches, and other invertebrates by sensing vibrations with their long front legs. The Vinegaroon was seen roaming at the national park's Chisos Basin campground. Now, that would be a great story. Now, if that'd be like us with Australians with drop bears. If I was American living in that area, and I was taking people for hikes out to that basin, I would sort of be like, you got to be careful around these parts. There's the Vinegaroon. What's the Vinegaroon? Oh well, it's this nasty creature that comes up out of the ground at night and spits acid in your face, and then when it's with its pincers, eats you limb from limb, like that type of thing. Like the Vinegaroon, that's what it sounds like. That could be a horror movie. The Vinegaroon, just a giant one of these coming out of the ground. I'm writing history as we speak. So these are nocturnal creatures. Hey, I got that right. So they do come up out of the ground at night. And they grow up to be about 3 inches long. Okay, so they're not as big as I sort of made them out to be. But imagine if they were the size of a car, though. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's some pretty scary shit. So that's the Vinegaroon. That is the whip scorpion. And they're coming to a town near you. I hope not. And you Americans say that us Australians have got some scary shit. Like, seriously, I don't have a whip-tailed, biting scorpion that shoots acid at your face. All right, so why are we looking at a couple of beds? Well, this is up to the sports portion of the show. I said it was going to be a little bit shorter tonight. This is the sports section of the show, and we're talking about the Olympics. Now, anyone who follows my Twitter feed would have seen that I put up a thing the other day saying this is the last thing I expected to see in the this is the last thing I expected to see on the internet about the Olympics. Now, it was stated that these are anti-sex beds. So supposedly these beds are supposed to be made out of cardboard and will break if the Olympians decide to have sex on them. So it's to try and stop people from having sex so they don't spread COVID. And it's been debunked. I'll show you a video in a second. But at the same time, I think it was always something I looked at and said, well, why? They would just put the mattress on the ground. If they really wanted to have a shag, they'd just put the mattress on the ground, seriously. So what it is, in actual fact, it's just a creative, biodegradable way that the Japanese have come up with for these beds, because at some point they're going to have to get rid of them all anyway. A lot of these apartments, they cram in extra beds into the apartments, or they cram extra beds into the whole building. So a lot of these apartments don't normally have these beds. A lot of these areas are built purposely just for the Olympics, and after the Olympics, they'll probably become more permanent basis. So yeah, I mean, it was a great story while it lasted. I was definitely I was on board with the whole anti-sex bed thing until so you'll have to those listening will just hear this, but if you're watching, this is Olympian Reese McLennigan. I'm guessing he's Scottish.
Games. The beds are meant to be anti-sex. They're made out of cardboard, yes, but apparently they're meant to break at any sudden movements.
So he's jumping up and down the bed.
Fake news. In today.
All right, so there you go. Reese McLennigan, and if you're Scottish or Irish, I apologise if I stuffed that up. You have proven that it is fake news. So he jumped up and down the beds, proven that the beds don't fall apart. Actually, pretty well designed bed when you got an Olympian jumping up and down on them. It's good on Japan. Smart way of creating disposable, biodegradable beds. There's some really interesting ideas coming out of Japan for this Olympics. Now, finally in sports news, who's this fella? This is Sebastian Vettel. Sebastian Vettel is one of my favorite F1 drivers, so I guess I'm a little bit biased putting him here in the news, but I had to because this is seriously, if anyone follows F1, you will have seen the race last week where Lewis Hamilton, he won the race, okay, got 25 points. During the race, he shoved another driver off the road. Yeah. Bad juju. In my opinion, bad sportsmanship, especially in F1. Rubbing is definitely not racing because the speed that these cars are going at is insane. The other driver he ran off the road is in hospital, has just come out, I believe. Battered and bruised, but not paraplegic or anything at least. But it could have, honestly, the speed that he shoved him off at, it could have killed the bugger. So Hamilton, I've never been a big Hamilton fan. I know a lot of people are. I never have been. I find him to be a bit smug and a bit. He's got good reason to be. He's a talented driver. But this man here, Vettel, probably. I was always a Schumacher fan, and when Schumacher obviously stopped racing, Vettel was one of the ones that started following. And here we have an image of Vettel after that same race that Hamilton shoved the other driver off when Lewis got a bit argy-bargy. But Sebastian came back that evening to help clean up the grandstands at the British Grand Prix. So Sebastian Vettel stayed behind after the British Grand Prix to clean up litter in the grandstands of Silverstone Circuit. And Aston Martin driver Vettel was forced to retire from the race after 40 of the 52 laps, but opted against an early departure. Once the event was finished and he had completed his media commitments, Vettel visited the grandstands to help marshals clean up some of the rubbish left behind by Silverstone's 140,000 fans. I mean, he's definitely, he's got a passion for cleaning up, and he's definitely got a green streak through him. And which is ironic because he races for Aston Martin now. But no, he does care about the environment, and that's ironic for a racing car driver. I know a lot of people out there aren't happy with the racing because of fossil fuels and all that. But when you see something like this, I mean, he's not just doing this for the cameras. Apparently, he does this quite a bit. And this is just the first time that Aston Martin's decided to really promote it. So good on Sebastian Vettel for doing this. I showed this to a few people to show people what sportsmanship truly is, and it's not all about cars and money and diamond earrings. That wasn't a go at Hamilton. It was, but it's not all about that. There's so much more to it. So much more about being a top sportsman, especially after the race is all said and done and everyone's gone home. This honestly reminds me of like playing footy back in the day and coming back the next day and doing the cleanup. Yeah, everyone chipped in. So good on him. And the driver that Hamilton shoved off the road, his father has come out requesting that Hamilton actually be disqualified from the race. And I don't know. I personally think, the 10-second penalty he's got a fine of some money. I mean, it's chicken feed for Hamilton. But yeah, I don't know. I personally, yes, I think he should be, because it was definitely it wasn't an accident, and at his level, he should know better. All right, so moving on from that, we'll close out with a bit of crazy weather, and this is what we have here. This is some terrifying stuff right here. This is Mosquito Tornado, mosquitoes. So fast-moving pillars with millions of insects rampage the peninsula of Kamchatka of far eastern Russia. I drove through the cloud of these mosquitoes for several hundred meters, said Alexei from Ust-Kamchatka. It wasn't a pleasant experience, as I could hardly see the road. I didn't dare open my windows. Giant pillars of mosquitoes were visible everywhere I looked. I could see some of them breaking apart, only to get back together into a new tornado. Experts told Kamchatka informed media outlets locals should not worry about this swarming, which was a mating phenomenon. These are male mosquitoes swarming around one of several females in order to mate. There is nothing wrong with this, said entomologist Lyudmila Lobkova. The swarming male mosquitoes do not attack humans, she said. These columns of mosquitoes looked like they touched the clouds, said Alexei. Locals say they're used to such swarms, but they are worse this year. And repellents do not work, by reported from the locals. So I know, like, people are saying do not panic, do not get scared over this. But my God, I don't care whether they're going to attack you or not. That many males, I can guarantee you that means there's going to be more mosquitoes back next year. So mosquitoes are one of those creatures where I know every creature has a point of existence, but do we really need mozzies? Do we really? I don't know. I don't think we do. But that's my biased opinion. Anyway, that's all we really have time for tonight. As I said, only a real short one to close out the night, and we'll be back this week with an episode all about the Pascagoula abduction case. That's one that I've been wanting to do a show on for a long time. So that'll come out Thursday in Australia, and it'll be, I think that's a Wednesday for everyone else, I believe. So anyway, I will talk to you all very soon, and make sure you check out the Twitter page at Aussie Oddball, the Instagram at Aussie Oddball, the TeePublic page is the Oddball Aussie Podcast. Listen to other shows on the that I have on here. You can find them at iTunes, Spotify, everywhere you find a good podcast at. And I'll be talking to you all very, very soon. Look after each other and stay safe out there in the weird. Good night.